Big shout out to everyone out there who's participating in this year's Capture the Flag hosted by NCL. This is the fall edition and it's my very first Capture the Flag. So just thought I'd take a quick break here just to share my thoughts, kind of my approach and just initial thoughts, nothing really well thought out. We've got a little bit over a day left, just a few hours as you can see right here, and I'm gonna actually burn that late night oil. Been spending a lot of time, took a break, took a nap yesterday on Friday, but got a few points and really have been pretty sustained today, just hitting it and figure that I'll give it my best shot. So this one's out there for anyone that kind of wants to see a first timer's first eye or bird's eye view, I should say. Or if you're actually competing and you're just thinking about like whatever points you got, calling it a done deal. And hopefully you just, take a quick break and hunker down and just give it your best shot. Because honestly, this is practice week. We've had the entire week, but most of us, as you know, whether you're working or in school, etc., probably didn't put the most juice into it Monday through Friday. But next week is actually the individual games, but it's just for the weekend. So I feel that the categories that you see right here, items such as open source intelligence, enumeration, forensic, log analysis, etc., I think it's going to be the same along with the flag type of syntax, but it gives us that experience to probably 80 to 90% hopefully feel comfortable when we get into it again. It's my very first one. So the approach that I really took was, through my courses, studies, instructors at SANS Institute. Big shout out to everyone there. Of course, the Discord channels that we have in our community and everyone that's, of course, in the discussion posts, the groups and everything. Big shout out to everyone that's encouraging and providing, some tips. But what I really did, I kind of probably, I want to say, got up to almost 700 by Friday and, woke up. You can see got about 500 more points today. And I guess I should start off with a goal of trying to get that completion percentage to at least 80%, I'd say. And with each of these activities, tasks, questions, whatever you want to call them, I've not yet used that hint button, as I heard it will decrement 5 points from your score. But I guess my focus now is to try to get through most of them, push through. Of course, started with kind of the low-hanging fruit. Not just all easy ones, but the ones where I felt like I had the reps from, training, preparation, and the courses. And this is kind of where I'm at. I got a lot of the hard and mediums left. Maybe onesie of the easy ones. But like I said, I think that I can hopefully get to that 80%. And worst case, probably tomorrow after, noon or maybe 1 p.m. football kickoff. I think there's a London game. Big shout out to all the NFL fans out there. I think London, they've got a game. I'll probably start using the hints. And like I said, just give everything an attempt and not leave points out there. The goal, of course, is to try to do our best, but to really learn and to hopefully document some of this in whatever way, whether that's GitHub, a blog post, discussion post, Discord, or just kind of talking within your community or even at work. I think that will go a long way. But I'm not going to lie, I was very scared is not the word that ever comes to me, but I guess you would say apprehensive about, participating in any CTF, those try, hack me's, all of that, hack the box. I, had subscriptions, but dibble dabble, truly, honestly didn't ever fully get the concept. But I think the course that we had to prepare us for it, and that kind of, not to say took us A to Z through certain scenarios and kind of how you would do it. And, Skynet has been, or Skylabs has been very good, or Skyline, apologies there, at having their YouTube channel and the web series that probably 70 to 80% of it is pretty similar. So there's things like, not to throw, an exact one, but password cracking. This is where, of course, for me, Hashcat was my tool of choice. There's Jack the Ripper. So you definitely need to try to recognize what the hash is initially. sometimes you're going to use that rocku.txt, that word list for, I think it's in the millions, tens of millions of compromised identities years ago that still will work for most of these. But if there's a clue like, hey, you know, here's some of the hashes, etc. Hint, hint. There's probably using movies or something like that. Then you have no clue whether that's movies in the U.S., top 100, etc. But you have to keep trying through your word list there. But you know what you got to identify what your attack mode is going to be, whether it's a hybrid of attack or, you know, whether you're just going to do a brute force. And so that's half the battle really there. If it starts with like, I think it's like a dollar sign, the number 1 and a dollar, that's like MD5 crypt. So just being able to recognize NTLM for Windows, if it's LM hash, if it's X number of characters, colon, and then that same number, you use the right side. So it's been pretty straightforward there. Got a few left to crack. To do it, you see my best category, open source intelligence, and that's not just Googling or using ChatGPT to leverage that. The one that I have left, the hard one, it's got something to do with GPS coordinates. I'm thinking we need to triangulate the set of 3. There's a third number, which, you know, I think it's elevation or depth, but trying to figure out the closest airfield, and there's nothing within the proximity of, you know, me. So that's one where I'll come back to and may do a hint at the end. I think it's in China, not to give anyone a guess or clue out there, just from being 100 kilometers away from that triangulation. You know, there's going to be sometimes provided a lot of PCAPs in the network, traffic analysis there. And the one, you know, it's pretty cool where you start reading your XML, or just once you get the data there, that it's Roku devices, what movies being watched, or, you know, different questions like that. Of course, flags sometimes that you have to do, you know, whether you got to crack a .rar or .tar file, whether you got to figure out the password for a PDF and do something with that. And then sometimes you got to put files back together, learn how to use the magic number. Just because the extension is .txt or .doc, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is. Anybody can change the extension, but you know, you have to know those magic numbers that correspond to really what, I won't say the program, but what type of file or data it is. You know, there's so many different things that we've gotten to use so far. Pretty cool too. Another one before I get to starting, of course, working in the cloud a lot, is not to say S3 buckets, but those DNS queries from a bucket, and asking, you know, DNS related query questions about the top domain, the IP that's the 10th most used, etc. It's pretty cool to see real world type of scenarios as well. But loving it, like I said, had trepidation to do it, and glad that, you know, I've done it. And I just want to document this, just fresh thoughts where I'm at. I know I'm gonna, you know, break away and stop here in a minute to probably go for a walk and then get back to it. But if you made it through this far, I truly appreciate it, because I know this can be just boring talk. It feels like it's just me speaking to myself. But like I said, for everybody, anyone that's interested in any of these, I would definitely suggest. There's so many free resources out there. I wouldn't pay for anything in this type of thing, to be quite honest. Of course, CCIE and things like that on this course, there's material where I do think you're going to need to try to collapse that time a bit. A good instructor or subscription, INE or something like that, or Han Airgun, you know, Norbits or K-Bits, you know, just a lot of those that just have the 20 plus years of institutional knowledge, and just the video playlist and library to do it. But for this type of a scenario, there's just so many people out there that just love to give back. Hopefully myself, one day I'll be able to write some blogs, insert some videos and things like that as well, because we just want to give back to the community and remember where we were at, like how I am right now, being apprehensive about getting into it, and try to break things down. We all learn different ways. There's different, some people will click off of a video because they say they don't like a person's voice, which is crazy. You're kind of so many things in life you're not able to change. So it's a little bit crazy to be that disposed to something. But like I said, I'm rambling now. But like I said, I'm just very thankful to have the opportunity here in my career to, pause from networking and firewalls and cloud and things like that to just take on this endeavor, learn what I can from it. And that third week is going to be a team group effort. And so hopefully we, Sands Institute Sentinels, that we can bring the funk and see how we all do. But like I said, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. And let me know down in the comments if there's anything you want to see. Probably in a few days, I'll take 1, 2, or 3 different scenarios from practice. Have to read what we signed. I don't think it's an NDA per se, but I probably won't show the site. But I'll put some generic type of questions, even if it's in Notepad, and walk through kind of how I solve it. There's multiple ways to solve a lot of these, just like, in networking. So, but let me get back to it. Like I said, going for a walk before it gets dark, and come back in here and burn this midnight oil. Like I said, hopefully I can get to 1800. The leader, I think someone may have solved, only one person, I think, has solved most of the questions. There's a lot of folks tied. It looks like they've got one question left. So, being in the top 5%, I've cut into the 300s. Hopefully I can finish in the top 100, but I mean, I'm happy just to be in the top 1,000 and to make it this far as of now in the 300s. Just through persistence, being able to, not to say think outside the box, but leverage what we had. I mean, even the ones where you use Cyber Chef, but it's not just straight what the input and picking the right operation, but sometimes multiple ones where maybe you use decimal and then that looks like a flag, but you didn't need like rot 13 or rote 13, whatever it is, rotate, to give you the proper format. It's pretty cool to see how you can identify that I'm almost there and I kind of know what I need to do and then to be able to apply it. So wishing each and every one of you all the best, especially those competing in this. Like we said, it's friendly competition and we're all one team, but I know we're kind of competing for ourselves. So just do your best, get some coffee or whatever, tea, and let's get back to it. But until next time, like I said, I thank each and every one of you out there for always rocking in here with me. But be safe, take care of yourselves, and peace.